Oh, yeah. Freak out, freak out. Yeah, I'm looking right into the video scope, And this is Macho Man, #1 Macho Man impersonator, past, present, future. Yeah, and I'm here to tell you, you are watching 49er Minded with Bashar. Yeah, the cream of the crop. Dig it?
49er Mind is it's not just a thought process, but a way of life. 49er Mind, 49er Mind, can't shake it. It's 49er Mind that I got. It's 49er Shine that I got. My psyche's on another Frisco Super Bowl. Don't sit slow, cause here we go with a super show. A written go session about our ready gold obsession. With some well-controlled expressions, let's talk about that win that we got. A fool should have been in the spot. That's how they spin in the spot. Let's call that back, call that crack, call that straight fumble sack. Or just dial it on up if you wanna talk smack. It don't matter what the story gone, as long as the story aligns with a 49er mind. 49er minded. It's not just a thought process, 49er minded, but a way of life. For sure. 49er minded. Way of life. 49er minded.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to 49er Minded, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. Today, it's actually the Bring the Heat podcast. Normally, it's myself, Mariah, and Ryan down there for No Border Sports. But unfortunately, Mariah's a little under the weather, but we're praying for her to get better. And she might be somewhere in the chat. And we got Terra Dome as our special guest today. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, young man. And how about yourself?
Doing good. Hey, you called me young. It's very rare that I get that these days, so I'll take it. What's up, Ryan? How you doing?
Better if my connection was good.
I know you're a little in and out with the connection today, but we'll do what we can and see how it goes, man. We'll tough it out.
Yeah, we'll put some makeup on it every now and again. I'll help it out.
Okay. So before we get started, before we kick things off, I do want to say shout out to everybody in the chat who got here hella early. I know I see you guys out there, and I just want to shout all you guys out before we get started. So we got Kenny says some strange moves today. Go Niners. 49er throwback says, how's it going? We got Francis, my cousin, all the way in Michigan. He's actually a Seahawks fan. He says, go Trey Lance. He's trolling me.
Oh,
he is.
Hey,
trolling
Francis,
me.
go check out Joe Stevens, Seahawk Talk. It's a buddy of mine. We do a show called The Rivalry every Wednesday now. So make sure to go check him out because he's got a Seahawk channel. He does a great show with Candace. I can't remember what her channel is, but she's a smart cookie when it comes to football, and she knows her Seahawks. So make sure you
Joe Stevens
tap
is a good
into
guy.
those guys. Yes, he is.
Yeah, Joe's awesome. What up, James Durnall from the UK says, oh yeah, I'll be here. Appreciate you, man. Saw you for the first time on Dion Niner Game podcast channel as a call-in, and you did a really good job on there. It's always good to see you in the chats. We got Shardal in the house. Says, hey, Bashar. SG Sports Talks channel, check him out. Who else is here? Fired Up 49ers. I think this is Kenny as well because I checked the channel. I think Kenny's got 2 different screen names now, if I'm not mistaken. But Niner Cali boy, how you doing, man? I met you back at the night before the home opener at the 49er meet and greet that we had over in Santa Clara. Met you and your wife, I believe. And he says now the Bosa trade rumors have started. Yeah, that's pretty crazy with all this stuff in Niner land. It always flies around. See if I missed anybody. We got Mariah here. What's up, Mariah? How you doing? I hope you get better. Good to see you. She says, pay Nick Bosa. And if we have anybody else that I missed, Brandon for Forever Faithful Podcast. Check him out.
What up, Brandon?
Really good dude. Hopefully I might run into him again this year, actually. I ran into him last year as well. So I mentioned Dion is the Niner Game podcast. That's him right there. So what's up, Dion Ryan? Check out Dion's channel. He's very opinionated, and on Instagram he put out a lot of put out these funny little comedy videos that he put out today. So I was expecting it.
The phrase "I wonder how Dion feels about this" has never gone on. You know where Dion stands.
He won't. He won't hide that from you.
Yeah, if he's around and he heard something, he's going to tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Which is good.
Really good buddy of mine. One of the great guests that I've had in the past. I had the Niner. Ray Pena has got the 49er prosthetic eye. Was in the running for NFL Fan of the Year last year. Great guy. 49er hip hop performer. 49er entrepreneur. Sells merchandise. Check him out on his Instagram. Ray Pena out of the Niner. Awesome, guys. We got a newcomer says, hello, everyone. Chad Mobs, good to see you, bro. Carcast 49ers Talk, good to see you, brother. Think I pretty much, and here's Pterodome right here. There he is. I see you in the chat. Randy Daytona 500, there he is. Okay, so I pretty much got everybody covered for the shout outs. Anybody new pops in, I'll say what's up to you. And let's get things go. Oh, actually, we got a new guy. Porter 440.5 says, Niner fan up here in Seattle. Lots of 49er fans here. 12 fans do not scare us. Okay.
Hey, man.
I'm up
y'all behind enemy lines up there.
I'm in Mount Vernon right now.
Danielle, that's my buddy there. She's on Twitter. She's a wonderful little lady. I like that.
Yeah. So hey, I got everybody covered. Hey, it's a huge turnout, so bigger than I expected. Let's address the elephant in the room really quick because I barely even got to see the video of Trey Lance in a cowboy, wearing a cowboy hat or whatever, and being confronted by the Dallas Cowboys official media. And what went through your mind over the past few days, last week, when Darnold was named number 2 and we saw the writing on the wall, and just Pterodome, go ahead. And what were you thinking?
I knew something was imminent when first and foremost, they had slid Darnold to number 2, and then this was happening. I think I was on Ted. I was on with Ted and Gina, or I was just watching them, and they say, "Yeah, we got some news." Ted's a big Trey guy, and he was holding the lead, and I was like, "Is Nick Bosa side? What's going on?" And he said, "Yeah, if you get on the internet and see Rappaport or Miyoko or somebody." So I started looking. I said, "Is this real? What's going on?" And then he didn't show up to practice. That was like 15 minutes later. And then I went live as soon as it started happening, and I said, if he's not in practice, that meant, and it wasn't scheduled off, that's, you got a trade partner. Stuff is moving, something's amiss. And, it just catapulted to the next 24 hours later. I think that was a Thursday. Then a Friday, we had the game against who we play, San Diego,
Los Angeles Chargers.
And the news had broke. We're gonna send them to the evil empire for a 4th. So
the dark side.
Yeah, he's gonna be one of those. So hey, it shocked me. I thought for sure, he was going to be number 2 and everything was going to be, we're just going to go through the season like it was. But I did a show that week about the vitriol and the divisiveness that we were having and stuff. And I mentioned, I said, I don't know if our owners feeling this, man, especially when Grant Cohen posted that with the people fighting in the stands, and all of them had on 49er jerseys. And we don't know for sure that was with the subjugate of
it probably was.
We don't know why, 100%, but it just wasn't a bad look. It just wasn't a good look, I should say. And, moves get made. And I think Kyle felt a little some kind of way. And it was just handled just crazy. They send Fred Warner up to the podium, and he's coming out of practice, and he didn't know anything's going on. He's not briefed. This isn't when you're talking to quarterback and quarterback movement and things of that nature, it's PR, man. It's top down. It's you gotta be polished. You gotta be ready. And I think they did him as well as Javon Kinlaw a disservice by not letting them know everything that's going on, because he's working down there with the defense. He didn't know what it was, and he's like a deer in the headlights,
Right. What was going through your mind when you first heard the Darnold number 2? When they said he was officially named number 2, where were you at, and what was going through your head?
I was like, it doesn't make sense. Trey needs reps, so the best thing to do if he's not going to start would be number 2. If the number 2 takes the reps with the first team D as the scout offense or the scout offense's quarterback, then I thought quarterback 2 is where Trey needed to go no matter what, because he needed reps. So I need my man in practice with going against the number 1 defense. That's what I need. You know what I mean? So he can get those reps. And so I was in a quandary, and I was like, I was kind of really upset because you could see Trey was getting somewhere. You know, not we didn't know where he was gonna go, but we seen that he was getting somewhere. And we saw him riddle off like 6 passes in a row, all from the pocket, which is not his strength and the reason why we've had issues. And when it was most crucial, he got it done. You know what I mean? Which we hadn't really seen from him before. Not even like that cleanliness. Not even the games that he started did I see a drive that was just so decisive, like that one scoring drive he had was before they got was it the drive with the field goal at the end? I think it was the drive with the field goal at the end.
Yeah,
but
yeah, they could have got a touchdown
game-winning
before
drive.
field goal. Yeah.
I feel they could have gotten a touchdown too. But I also thought, hey, Trey already got his touchdown. Let's put Moody in this situation, make him win the game. Because if it's nerves, let's test the nerves. Let's test the nerves. A real game time situation. It's still a preseason, but if you can win a preseason game, everybody's going to want you to win it. You know what I mean? So I was I was okay with that. I don't know if maybe Brandon Ayuk running out on the field to celebrate Trey was any sort of a thing. Because remember the touchdown that he threw, Brandon Ayuk ran out there to go congratulate him. So I don't know if that could have played in with it. I think Kyle wanted. I think the moment he found he could get Sam Darnold, he locked in on Sam Darnold, and I don't know if Trey could have done anything other than like beat everybody out, which is kind of unrealistic with where he was. You know what I mean? He needed to grow a little bit more before he could do that. So to show that he's got something as good would be where I might want to have him take over, because if he can show that he's as good, well, let's get him the rest of the reps real time. You know what I mean? Let's go through some bumps and stuff like that, because I think it's better in the long run. I just blown away how, like I said this earlier on Ted and I's show, the 49ers have spent more time and made more excuses for a guy like Jalen Moore than they did Trey Lance. Like Jalen Moore being on this team right now just shows that the 49ers have no idea what they're doing.
What about Kinlaw? How many chances did we give Kinlaw?
I understand Kinlaw because he's a higher pick, and a lot of people just keep him on the team, not accept like defeat. But also you got to think, we got to pay him if we cut him. Nobody wants to trade for him, right? So we're going to have to pay that money anyways. Might as well have a guy who can come in at times, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to cost more if you cut him and have to pay somebody to replace his spot, I guess. That's my thought in theory. So they just said, screw it. We'll just have that guy sit in the corner, and everybody else will take a piece of his pie, or we'll end up using him when we need him, and then who knows what'll happen. So
it's just weird because I just seen multiple guys on this team who were higher picks get chances, and Trey was still on the team. They weren't going to cut him, but the third quarterback thing was fishy to me. Because go ahead.
Why was Kyle surprised that Trey wanted to trade after that? You know what I mean?
Maybe he was acting. Maybe he was pretending he was surprised just to show the media that.
Yeah, I was totally taken aback. Oh, you were? How? Like, how are you gonna?
We all saw it. Yeah.
Do you know what it's like to be a man, Kyle? Do you know what it's like to have pride in yourself? You can, as a man, you can take so much. You know what I mean? And I'm not just saying that Trey couldn't have done it, but I think Trey was like, look, I've been very good this whole time. I just wanted my chance. You didn't give me any sort of a chance. And now I'm back. I'm Sam Darnold's backup.
And Darnold has NFL experience. I get that. So people are trying to say like, oh, the floor is higher, but at least from what we saw in the preseason games, I didn't see anything that where they said that Sam separated himself. No, I don't think any of us saw that.
Jesse posted Sam Darnold's floor in a NFL game, and it's terrible. It's way worse than anything we've ever seen with Trey Lance. So, like that's on tape. I'm not saying, I don't know the game it was, but he put down the stats. I'm guessing all the stats are true. So, I don't think Jesse would be one to fudge those numbers and stuff like that. Somebody would call him out on it, I'd feel. So I'm taking that as true. The numbers that he posted is true. So I don't know the specifics in this and that, but it didn't look good at all. And I wouldn't say that all of that would be on everybody on the team. You know what I'm saying? Because, yeah.
So we got a question in the chat from Celts Chronicles. What's up, Celts? Mr. Layers himself. He says, is that an Insane Clown Posse shirt, Ryan? Is it?
No, it's Pinky in the Brain. It's brain from Pinky in the Brain.
Right, Ryan, you have quite a collection of T-shirts, I must say. Maybe I should be like you, but maybe I'm just too vanilla when it comes to that. Somebody else asked a question too. Okay, Brian Kolb, what's up, Brian Kolb? So shout out to him. Says ICP. I think
I'm not a juggalo.
Oh, you're not
a juggalo.
Raphael 5629 is my man. What's up?
Raphael is here. Good to see you.
I have listened to the Great Malenko many a time.
I bought that CD, the Great Malenko. It just wasn't my cup of tea. It wasn't my cup of tea. I don't know.
It's not everybody's. It was cooler when you were a kid when fart jokes were funny. You know what I mean?
Well, I still laugh at those. Crazy Juices here. We got 49er playlist. Check him out on Instagram. He's got a very big following on Instagram. Good dude. Eric Wallace is here. See, another Seahawks fan. I think I'm missing somebody. I know I saw some other people trickle in. If I'm missing you, just say what's up. And Damian Lee's here. What's up, Damian Lee? Says hit that like and subscribe. We always appreciate you.
You get Randy Daytona. There he is.
Randy Daytona saying D Malenko, not the wrestler. Great Malenko. It's a song by the Insane Clown Posse. There's a little ICP reference because they thought that he was wearing an Inside Posse shirt. Oh, whoa. Dion saying Pinky in the Brain greater than Kyle and John.
You never have to worry about having to know where Dion stands.
I never watched Pinky in the Brain, but a friend of mine at my old job said that there was, this is way off topic, but he said there was an episode once because we were talking about, somebody said something about cooking with love, and he's like, oh, there's an episode of Pinky in the Brain where the secret ingredient in the cake was hate.
So Pinky and the Brain are probably greater than Kyle and John because Pinky and the Brain got like this close from achieving their goal every night, not just a couple of times in their careers. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like every night they were trying to take over the world and they get about this far away from it, and then something would happen and they'd be back in their cage for the next day to be tested on. And then when everybody went home, they'd start it all over again.
Kind of prophetic because we were about 7 minutes away in Miami, as I recollect. I think a lot of things would have changed if we'd have just ran the ball.
We have a lot of playoff moments that are very painful, I must say. David McNider's here saying what's up to him. Good to see you. He's always doing the collab with Brian Kolb in the mornings and the weekends. So good to see you guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate the big turnout. Plenty to talk about in Ninerland. I mean, I think we pretty much covered everything about this Trey Lance, Cowboys, and Darnold thing. I mean, I spit out a lot. I dropped a lot of F-bombs on Dion's channel the day before. I knew I knew there was going to be something imminent. Didn't know where, but I just think the biggest thing about this is I get it. I get we have Brock Purdy now, and a lot of people do see him as a future and possibly see him as a franchise quarterback or at least a good quarterback. So I definitely like the fact that Brock is taking snaps from under center. I have no problem with that, obviously, and he won games for us last year, and we could possibly win more games this year. So we'll see how that goes. But it's just the fact that Kyle and John, and I'm not going to talk about this for the rest of the year or anything like that, but Kyle and John sold us on this dream of having Trey Lance be their guy. They sold us on the idea of, we gave the Miami Dolphins all these picks so we could get our guy, have him be our guy. And now at the end of the day, it's just we're a charity for the Miami Dolphins. And then, we didn't work hard enough to try to develop Lance, and now Jerry Jones eyes got all big that he was available, and now he has him, and we hate the Cowboys. So just none of this adds up. I can't spin anything good on this. I just can't. I don't know.
Yeah,
we laundered the Dolphins picks. That's essentially what we did. We laundered them picks.
Took a loss
hey,
on it.
Do you see Fired Up Niners question?
Fired Up Niners with a question.
And tell me if you're right. Are you Kenny from the Pacific Northwest? I think that's you. He says a question. What are your thoughts on losing Il Manning on our O-line? Okay, yeah, he didn't make the final 53, right?
Horrible.
And Nick Zakelj, I believe, made the final 53.
Yeah.
We
were gonna get into that,
guard.
but yeah, man. Il Manning and Marlon Davidson too, man. These guys was balling out on the other side of the ball too. I'm feeling you Fired Up. I didn't like that at all. No.
Yeah, we'll talk about both.
Hey, but we got Jalen Moore.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Jalen Moore though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we do.
Randy
J. Toda says Kyle hooks up his ex-coaches. Yeah, he did all right. He sure did.
Yeah. Straight laundered him picks.
49er Throwback says, I hate the 7-step drop back by Kyle Shanahan. I'm surprised we brought that in with Kyle because the last time I saw that as a 49er fan was when we had Mike Martz as our OC, and we know that didn't work out well.
Yeah, it's long developing.
Who do we have that throws it?
It's made to go downfield, but hey, I tell you, man, with the blocking, you might have not so much on the I know on the right side when we had McGlinchey and now we got McKivitz. The left would have been solidified. I'm quite sure one of the best that ever did it, Trent Williams. But deep drops and putting backup tight ends in there to block number one defensive players coming off the edge. Not.
Are you talking about that Eagles play where we lost Purdy?
Yeah. Yeah,
we had done that play many times in situations like that, and that time is just he decided he didn't want to bite on the fake.
Yeah, but you probably don't. You probably don't want to do that one.
Explaining what happened.
You probably don't want to do that one with Hassan Reddick over there.
And here's the deal on that play too. And I didn't know this, but for those who study film, they brought it up to me after the fact. I believe during that whole playoff run, Hassan Reddick I'm pretty sure he was instructed to just rush upfield at the quarterback and not even regard the run.
Don't even look at the run. You go straight to quarterback.
And it's like that part went completely over our heads.
He was a hunter.
Yep.
He hunts. And if I was the DC, that's exactly what I would have him doing. Do not get caught up in what you call the minutia of the fakes and everything up that. I need you to go directly to the quarterback. That's all I want you to do. When we play these running quarterbacks with run pass options, I would tell Nick Bosa, do not get caught up in the fake. I would let Fred Warner and Kinlaw and Armstead handle the dive. You guys go to the quarterback. That's where it's got to be. When you're playing Lamar Jackson, don't worry about the run. Don't worry about that. You let them handle it. You go to the quarterback. That's it. That's how we did it in high school. This is Henrico High School. But we got this super duper elaborate, I'm gonna, peel down and bite on the fake.
Do you think it could
bring the linebackers around for the pitch, man? And
do you think it could be Kyle just looking at the tape and going, "Oh, so he hasn't changed it up with all these other places, but with all these other teams, but when this time it's gonna get him."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's gonna just go after the run this time. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying there's a chance.
Exactly. Yeah. and we do have, and Trey is in the chat, by the way. Trey from VA. What's up, Trey from VA? If you remember Rombo Show, TNT. That's him right there. Really good dude. Also, and there's another Trey in the chat.
I thought Trey Lance.
We have another Trey here. Trey Burrows. Welcome to the channel. Never seen you before. Like and subscribe to the channel. It says, why is Lynch being cheap and not giving Bosa what he wants? You don't let someone like this leave. So Bosa's a topic of discussion right now.
Yes.
Nice segue. Is Lynch being cheap and not giving Bosa what he wants? What do you think about this, guys? Go ahead.
Well, without knowing all the inwards and the particulars of the deal, I would assume just looking at Spot Track, which I do, and it establishes market value for a player at a position. And from my last watch on it, it had TJ Watt as the highest paid defensive end. And I think that's at a $28 million level. And we have Nicholas John Bosa ranked, or Market Watch has Spot Track. I'm sorry, Spot Track has him as, I'm thinking about day trading, but Spot Track has him at his market value at 28.6. I would think we would go to upwards of 30, maybe even 31. He wouldn't be the highest paid defensive player. That position goes to Khalil Mack, because he signed some really, really killer deals and he's making big yak. So even with that, getting them towards 32 would be optimum and be the way to go. And from our understanding, or what Kyle and John said last year removed, we've got the money set aside for Nicholas John Bosa. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I don't know everything that's going on with it, but something's amiss and something smells foul in Denmark.
He said Denmark. Go ahead, Ryan.
I thought it was Nick Bosa just trying to stay out of camp. At this point in time, I've thrown that idea out the window. I don't think even Nick Bosa wants to be out this much out of camp. I think this has to do with the guaranteed money. Now, I'm thinking it has to do with the guaranteed money. And the 49ers are trying to, I don't know, make it incentive base. And he's like, no, I want it guaranteed. And I think that's why I heard, who was it? Ian Rappaport said that they were pretty far off. And that there was communication between the sides, but there's like nothing being done. So take that as a grain of salt, because who knows? It seems like somebody telling him something there. But who knows? It sounds to me like he's getting a sign from the 49ers again. Because remember, the 49ers don't leak, but so that's how this got out. It got out through them. And I just think that if they're not on something, supposedly the Niners have got the money, right? They just don't want to pay him all of what they got set aside for him. You know, they're trying to do incentives, I'm guessing. So I think that's where it's at. And Bosa's had injury history. He wants his stuff guaranteed. I understand. 49ers are trying to protect their interest. I get that too, even though you know what you're saddling up for, so just pay the man.
Yeah, everybody's trying to play hardball. I've seen it done with the Cowboys. Speaking of which, hate to bring up a bad imagery, but in this particular situation, Emmitt Smith held out in the 93 season, I think it was, for 2 games, and they realized quickly we got to get 22 in here after 2 losses. They were coming off a Super Bowl year. Emmitt Smith said, I need to be the highest paid running back in the game. And after those 2 losses, they got themselves together. And we really don't want to get to a level of sacrificing a couple of losses or some bad film out there before everybody ponies up and says, okay, you got me. Just pay the man.
Or bad feelings.
The longer he's out, we're risking soft tissue injury. Sorry there, Ryan. The longer he's out, we're risking things like soft tissue injury. He's not all the way up to speed. He's a little bit, he's a good guy. He's in shape. I know he's a workout warrior and everything, man. But if you don't get those reps in football shape, if you don't get that training camp, if you don't get a couple of bangs on those elbows and forearms and the tossing of crazy positions, groins pull, hamstrings pull, stuff like that, man. It happens.
Yeah, football shape is a completely different thing from being in regular shape. There definitely is. And with Bosa, from the rumblings that I've been hearing, at least, is the agent himself. I mean, they had Prague supposedly had a contract up and ready for them, and to make them, the highest paid player supposedly, and then apparently his agent is just being really, really difficult and just asking for more and more money, and it's just a huge halt in Prague's plans and the team's plans. So they're trying to get something done. I mean, when Bosa gets his contract, you're not gonna say that this regime is cheap.
Who did you hear that from?
I'm not gonna say, but let's just say it's somebody that knows somebody close to the team. I could tell you off chat. I could offline. I could tell you, but
he protects his sources.
Wouldn't that? I think I know who it is. Wouldn't that also be in the team's best interest for that news to kind of get out?
I don't think so. Considering from who said what, I think they'd rather just keep that under wraps. To be honest with you, I heard there's more to it that I'm not gonna say.
Gotcha.
But it gave me a pretty good idea of what's going on, though. And hey, it may not be 100% true, but it's just something I did hear. We got the Niner you love to hate from 510. It says, "What's up, fellas? Starting to despise this regime." We got Symmetry said, "What's up, Symmetry? How you doing?" He says, "Did you hear John Lynch on the Pivot podcast? He had some interesting comments about the broadcasting job." I did not hear that. I don't know if you guys heard it.
It's a great pivot, man. John Lynch really got candid, really said some good stuff. It was very, very, very good, man.
What stood out for you?
You know, he was such a good baseball player too. He was
he was at Stanford. I remember he was a pitcher at Stanford.
Yeah.
Yep. He took some time of football. It was a pitcher,
you know,
and then
did you know he hit his brother-in-law so hard he knocked him out on the field?
I remember that. Yeah,
his best friend ended up marrying his sister, and they played against each other in the NFL. And
yeah, I remember that.
John laid the wood on him, knocked him out. He popped
Miami. Yeah,
he was a big hitter with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
You ain't know? Yeah, that middle. Nice. Tampa Bay built their defense from the middle out. You had Warren Sapp up front, and you had Brooks behind him, and then you had Lynch in that middle deep safety. And then they just started building it outward towards they had they had some good ball players. It's one of the best defenses. Yeah, Rondé Barber, who just went into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and you had Booger McFarland. I remember Booger. Yeah, you remember a guy named Booger, and they had a good pass rusher, man. His name escapes me right now. I think it was Simeon Rice.
Simeon Rice. Yeah.
Oh, they
Gruden had himself some toys to play with, man, when he joined that team, man. He was like a kid in a candy store.
Booger McFarland.
Tony Dungy had built. Let me shout out Tony Dungy built that up. Tony Dungy. Everybody, please believe Tony Dungy had built that up for Gruden to come on in and swoop in and get the trophy. That was the great work of Tony Dungy.
But Booger was the first dude to be sitting on a scissor lift driving up and down the sidelines. Don't you remember that? They had I can't remember what night football it was, but he was like on a scissor lift and he just drive so he could be on the line of the scrimmage. Line of scrimmage every play.
I remember they had him in some awkward stuff in Monday Night Football or something like that, and people were like, "What are you doing?"
He had like an armchair on a scissor lift, and he was had a microphone. He was just driving right and left down the field.
Yeah, it's a booger.
Fired Up 49 says Bosa trains with his brother through every year, basically. And I would rather have him training with his brother, who is also a top 5 pass rusher. They're both beasts.
But he's not training with his brother right now.
Yeah, but not definitely not right now.
His brother's in LA.
Yeah. And you know what? You said San Diego Chargers earlier. Yeah. I still say San Diego Chargers.
I do too.
It's just San Diego that way.
Superchargers. That's how we Chris Berman used to San Diego Superchargers.
San Diego Chargers.
Man, that was great football. We used to get them in the East. You know, they were the late game, but man, Air Coryell was airing that thing. If you wanted to see that ball get in the air, baby,
Kellen Winslow Sr.,
Johnny Jefferson, and Muncie was running back, and Charlie Joyner. Man, they threw it.
With Tampa Bay, you're right. Allstott and Dunn. Dunn, the breakaway ability. Allstott is like one of my ideal fullbacks, other than a William Floyd. I love William Floyd. Yeah, but
Dude,
Allstott
it
was a
was
killer fullback.
such a savage combo to
Oh,
be
yeah.
able to smash you up the center with Allstott and then fake it to Allstott after he's been killing you up the center all the time to work Dunn, who just had legs and just pew. You were screwed. You were screwed. They didn't even. They really didn't even need to have to pass the ball. You know what I mean? You could have just give it to Allstott for his two
They gave it to
downs.
Johnson, and he would throw it to Keenan McCardell
Yeah.
or I think was
Fine,
Keyshawn
like,
there by then? Keyshawn was there.
Yeah. I don't like Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah, Keyshawn Johnson was good on the Bucks. He helped them win the Super Bowl, but he's kind of annoying a little bit. Fired up 49ers, Kenny. I hope you're right. He says Tampa Bay
wasn't
defense
as
ain't better
great
than we
as
are now.
everybody says he was.
We got to put
defense,
it on paper and get that championship.
If our defense is better than theirs, then we better win the championship. Because that
you got it.
Yeah,
that 02 Bucks defense was the reason why we call it the Tampa 2 is because of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2002. Derek Brooks would drift very far back and almost make it a 3 deep zone to cut off in crossers or in cuts. And now that's known as the Tampa 2, developed by Tony Dungy and perfected by that 02 Bucks and Derek Brooks. That's the reason we got it.
I always appreciate the great defenses of the NFL. My first football game that I actually sat and watched from beginning to end was when the Bears won the Super Bowl with the refrigerator Perry, and I remember that awesome defense with Mike Singletary, Samurai Mike, and the Baltimore Ravens. Amazing defense. And what sucks is we had a pretty awesome defense in the Miami Dolphins Super Bowl year too, actually.
Oh yes.
What sucks is we've had other years with amazing defenses though after that, and we just haven't been able to seal the deal, unfortunately.
They got overshadowed a lot because of Montana, Rice, a plethora of weapons, but we had some really sound defenses back in the day, man. They were really, really good. Guys like Keena Turner, guys like Hacksaw Reynolds, and that 94 defense, man, that's one of the best defensive backfields we ever had. But people just, you remember the touchdowns, girls dig the touchdowns in the offense, and defense like, hey, we're here.
You mentioned that secondary for the 94 team. Deion Sanders, Merton Hanks with the chicken dance, and Tim McDonald. And Eric Davis.
Eric Davis. Yeah. Very good defense. Very, very sound.
And here, Randy Daytona with the interesting, he says Doug Flutie, Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, I've met both of them actually. So Brock Purdy's definitely a lot bigger than Doug Flutie. I'll say that. But Doug Flutie, for a small little guy, he had himself a little arm, man, or a pretty big arm for a little dude.
I love the University of Miami, man. And Flutie Flakes got me in '84, throwing Hail Marys. He won a Heisman when he was in Boston College. He wore like number 22.
22, looked like a running back.
He looked crazy, right? But hey, Flutie could get you. Flutie done got a few of them. Flutie was tricky.
I wouldn't be comparing Purdy and Flutie together. I don't think they're the same guy, really. They've got
people make comparisons all the time.
Yeah, no, you're all good, Randy. I would like, if you want to just look at things, I would say like Drew Brees is kind of more of his, but even then, I don't think it's a true comparison whatsoever. Purdy's Purdy. There's probably somebody you could find maybe that is closer, but he'd be splitting hairs. Like, he's just Purdy. Doug Flutie.
That's who he models himself
Purdy
after.
Can't do the drop kick.
Drew Brees.
He said he models himself after Drew Brees. That's what he said.
Yeah,
he did. Okay, I didn't know
that was really his big. His dad really loved Dan Marino, but Drew Brees was his guy. He really
okay. Didn't know that. Did not. That's good that he brought that info on. And we got some people that just jumped in here. So Laura Katz here says bringing the heat on Tuesday. What's up, Laura?
Laura Cat.
Nice surprise to see Terradome. The Terradome. And Nicholas Akalates from the Locker Room Rant. Check out their YouTube channel. Him and John V. John V's a Niner fan. Nick's a Browns fan. Their boy Tony's a Buffalo Bills fan. Check him out. Oof. He says Doug Flutie was sweet. He just never got a shot in the NFL until late his career. He was initially drafted by the Bears and went to CFL, kicked ass in the CFL, and then went back to the NFL. But he was good when he was on the Bills, I thought.
Yeah, he was. And I think they took him out
He
like
was
the
too
last
short for
game.
somebody
Got
to give him a
hurt.
chance.
Well, he got hurt or something, man. And then they put in, the swashbuckling. His name was Johnson or something, Rob Johnson or something like
I
that.
remember Rob Johnson. He sucked.
Yeah, they put him in because he was big and he had a big
He's
arm.
built more like an NFL quarterback, obviously.
Yeah, he looks more like it, and they lost the playoff, and the rest is history.
What'd you call me earlier? Before when we were offline before the show started, I was just laughing to myself thinking about what you called me. You said I remind you of Ferris Bueller's Day Off or something like that.
Man, Bashar was out here taking pictures with all the 49ers. I'm like, he's like Ferris Bueller. I expected to see you on a float singing Shake It Up Baby. I said, Bashar is balling out here.
Yeah, well, we got to go to training camp. Laura hooked it up with the VIP on that one, and so we were really close to all the players, and we didn't have to stand between a line of like 500 fans to try to get an autograph or whatever, get a picture. So, Fred Warner, Kittle. Well, Kittle I didn't talk to, but talked to Lance, talked to Purdy, Hufanga. All good guys. It was a lot of fun. I can't complain. John Lynch, I even said what's up to him for a second. Said what's up to Larry Krueger. Larry Krueger was there. Didn't get to take a picture with him. I tried to take a picture, but it got messed up because I hit the video button on accident on the phone and got messed up. But good dude, man. Good dude. Afterwards, people saw the pictures, got to hang out with Breezy and John Chapman, and finally got to meet Ted. And it's cool. And it's always good to always meet these people that you collab with, but you never actually meet them in real life.
It is true.
Hopefully, I can meet you and Ryan one day. I never met you guys.
Yes,
before.
sir. I plan on meeting up with you, man. Let's have a good time, man. This season, let's do some things. I'm gonna go to the Pittsburgh game. I'm gonna go to when they play the Cowboys. Ironically,
I'm not sure if you ever go on Twitter Spaces, but there's a good contingency of guys from the Twitter Spaces going to the Pittsburgh Steelers game. Not sure if everybody that those guys are not, but definitely heard them talking it up.
Hey, Bashar.
And
Dick Nasty wants to meet you.
No, I did meet him before. We've met. So the rumor is true. So hey, I don't sign autographs or anything. Just kidding. Is that a soundboard or was that a real bell? What was that?
I keep a bell on.
Oh yeah,
okay,
cool. You should use it more. Okay, so let's ask this. We need some predictions here. Let's get back on track with the Niner Talk really quick. It's funny though, you mentioned the Ferris Bueller thing really quick. Every now and then in my life, I have these funny situations like that where I just show up and it's in this unexpected scenario. Can't really think of other ones off the bat right now, but it wasn't the first time that's happened. Let's just say that.
I can see that happening. You'd be like at the Olympics or something and say, "Hey, is that Bashar with Usain Bolt?"
Definitely not gonna be running with it. Maybe I'll be giving him water or something like that. Who knows?
Just walking by. Hey.
Yeah. Okay. We got Jason Niners Smash Massey says Talofa Faithful UK. Faithful
means hello. He told me that
I believe
earlier
it's Samoan. He always mentions it. Yeah. And we got Go Hard. Hey, man. Great to see you here, man. It's been a long time. I know you were a big caller on the Rombo show back in the day. Let me ask this question to you guys and whoever's in the chat. What's up, Jess? We see you, man. Jess from East Coast Red and Gold Podcast.
Jess.
What up, Jess?
How you doing, sis?
My question is, what's up, Jess? We got a question about Bosa. Now, let's assume he signs because some random dude on Reddit put out some rumor that he's going to get traded. If you guys want to address that, go ahead. But when do you think Bosa's going to sign? A week, 2 weeks? What are your predictions, guys?
I got to get him in here this week, man. We're 12 days away, right? We play on the 10th. It's 31 days in August. It's the 29th. We're cutting it down. We're definitely under 2 weeks. So we got to get him in here as soon as possible. I thought it would be a little bit accelerated after we set the roster today and, some news will come up. We definitely need something in the next 24 to 48. I'm looking for something. I'm very cautiously optimistic for something in the next 24 to 48 hours.
What up, Ryan? What do you think? Are you frozen?
No.
I know. I thought you were.
I have a feeling this might go longer. I might go into the season. unless they start burning the oil really quick.
Like
I
a
don't
kerosene
know.
lighter.
Yeah, they gotta get down to brass tacks real quick.
Some
But
pay the man.
maybe maybe week 1.
Okay. I'm gonna say Friday. So you say week 1. I say Friday. You say within the next 48 hours. So
Yeah, so that would
pretty
be
close
right
there.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty close. I don't believe this trade rumor thing because it came from some random cat on Twitter. No, not on Twitter. He wasn't even on Twitter. It's from Reddit. Some random dude on a Reddit, and somebody took it like it was gospel, and now it's all over the place. It's one guy on Reddit saying it. So,
what would the trade look like that he said? How would it be advantageous? Did he give a breakdown of how the trade?
I don't know.
Would go?
I saw somebody type something. I'm not sure if they made it up themselves, but they were like, "Oh, trade him to the Vikings for Cousins and Everson." Is that the pass rusher's name, Everson, or who's that pass rusher that the Vikings have?
I like Danielle Hunter.
Daniel Hunter. I think he said Hunter.
That's a double-digit guy with 50 tackles coming in. I looked at his last 3 years. He's on an ascend. He wasn't too happy there. I was thinking we would get him as a complimentary piece on the other side of Bosa for a splash. And so I've been following him very much, looking at his stats, looking at his film. He would be a really nice addition to this line while Drake Jackson gets spun up into his grown man role. But for when you take Nick Bosa off of that, man, you're missing some sacks, man. You're missing the best pass rush. To put it in perspective, Nick Bosa was ranked number 4 amongst everybody in the NFL. These are all players. They voted this in. And he's a non-quarterback, non-offensive guy, and he's 4th ranked as players in the National Football League, which is really, you're getting into that Aaron Donald territory. You got to consider that.
Well, hopefully one day Bosa does this. What did Aaron Donald do? Like, give me that ring,
right
give me that
there,
ring.
put it right there.
Hopefully we see Bosa doing that. We're due for that, man. I'm tired of this losing NFC Championship games and all that.
Yeah,
consolation
prize.
Raphael says Wilkes is probably panicking at the moment. He needs Bosa. Oh, he definitely needs that whole D line needs Bosa. Any more about Bosa? Or do you guys want to break down the 53-man roster before we go?
I think we covered it and beat
Jess brought up a good comment.
What'd Jess say?
She said he wasn't going to sign today because he would count against the 53-man roster, hoping sooner rather than later. I'm not sure what the loophole between that is. If somebody wants to explain, go right ahead. Or somebody in the chat might know. I don't know.
Well, when I was looking at my 53-man roster, it did have a slot for him. It says Nick Bosa reserve, did not repo. That's what Matt Miyoko put when he put the whole 53-man roster together. So I think they're reserving a slot. Yeah. I haven't gone through and counted each one of these guys. Maybe that's 52 and a possible. Like we playing spades. You always play spades. I ain't got 53. How strong? I got 52 and a possible.
How about you? Well, remember the depth chart though, where it had Trey Lance or Sam Darnold at QB2. Remember they put or
yeah. It was some sites were saying Sam Darnold, some sites were saying Trey Lance at 2.
Hey, I remember you, man. You're like, hey, Ted.
I said Ted.
ESPN has Sam Darnold at QB2 and Trey Lance at QB3.
He said ESPN doesn't know what they're talking about. ESPN is a bunch of people just rambling on. It's a 4-letter word. That's he went Ted backstorming. I said, hey, Ted. I'm just saying
but there is that is kind of true, because we can point out people on a lot of these networks that don't even have a reason to be there. You know what I mean? With some of the garbage takes they put out. And I'm just saying, like look at PFF. Like, I remember they were ranking defensive players and Bosa was like number 4. And the number 1 person, I can't remember who they had. But his reason for being number 1 was the high PFF grade that he had. And it's like, that doesn't take everything into account. Just because you have this grading system doesn't mean that that's why someone's good. Just your numbers are telling you that he's good. Watch all the tape. You know what I'm saying? Look at the impact on
they
the
don't
people
watch that.
around him.
They got little booger eaters that just crunch stats and say, well, PFF says this is your guy, and they take the paper off of the machine and say, hey, say this online, and guys like Colin Coward get on there and say, well, looking at these stats right here in my hot little hand, I see that this guy is better because he has better stats than my little intern just told me. So they didn't watch a film. They don't know how it works inside the impact you have. They haven't looked at a piece of film. They wouldn't know a bear front from a over front. They think it's a bear in the woods.
All right. So I'm gonna since we moved on from the Bosa, let's talk about the 53-man roster. I'm gonna flash on the screen for a bit, really quick, and I don't have a list of the cuts, but I could probably pull that up at least. Bring it up later after the 53-man roster, and let me just see which way I'm gonna go. I'm gonna start defense first, since we brought. Actually, that's the offensive one. Let me start defense first, though. Defense wins championships. I love defense, and let me just bring up some defense.
You like quick. Defense? We got a guy in Javon Kinlaw who's on the team.
Oh man, he's a gangbuster. What up, Twin Empire? Good to see you. Says, what's up, fellas?
Twins in the house.
There's Twin right there. Good to see you, bro.
Kicking it with me all day, man. Back at it.
Was live earlier. This is the offensive one.
Okay, I just changed it. I wasn't trying to be offensive, but no pun intended. All right, so let's start with the defensive line, because on this one, I don't know, do you guys see it, or should I zoom in on it more?
That I can see it.
Okay, you can see it.
Okay, a little cut off at the bottom, but I can.
Okay, I can scroll up. No big deal. So defensive line, they don't mention Bosa at all in here. They got Hargrave, obviously, Eric Armstead, Drake Jackson. He made some nice play in this last game. I forgot what it was exactly, but he looked like he looked a bit bigger and just as quick and just as fast. So there's some promise there. Clelin Ferrell, Javon Kinlaw, Kevin Givens. That's a little bit of a surprise for me, but he was on the team last year. Leah Davis, Robert Beal Jr. Now, Robert Beal Jr., we never even got to see this preseason, so I'm curious to see what he can do, man. What do you guys think about this D-line group so far? And Kerry Hyder got cut. I don't know if they're going to bring him back or do whatever, but
I think if he comes and clears waivers, maybe he can come back on the practice squad or something, man. But that Javon Kinlaw, man, I had him on the bubble, and I guess like I was saying earlier, you alluded to, it's a salary cap thing. We can't cut him because we'll have to pay him too much money. It wasn't just the true meritocracy of, hey, who's balling out and who's not, and if you're not, you gotta go home. That's how I used to do it. But I guess we got Javon Kinlaw in there. Is he projected starting again?
I don't know. Kinlaw in the last game, he actually did open my eyes a little bit, though, because he actually showed that he can push the pocket on the pass rush. Now in the run game, it's a whole different story. But
that's kind of where we need him.
Exactly.
And I just want to see these Pilates
film against the Eagles last year. Go ahead, bro.
I just want to see these Pilates. Can you not hear me?
Yeah, you want to see him do Pilates? I don't get it.
No, I want to see these Pilates that are helping him so much. I want to actually see what all these young men who have a problem with pad level need to be doing shouldn't be doing, because he's still got issues.
Man, I had a coach named Joe Taylor. Joe Taylor said, look at him. Y'all talk about how small he is. Look at him. They all up in your chest. You never give a man your chest. And these mugs Kinlaw's first move, and there's another one there too. I ain't gonna go because people get mad at me when I bring it up, but he's pretty tall. The first step is up, and they give it up, man. And then you're on roller skates, and you're looking like you're on a extra on the ATL
rink.
Yeah, you're out there dancing next to Swede.
Never want to be on the roller skating.
To be ATL. You can't give them your chest, man. You can't give them your chest.
Yeah.
And we had we cut a pretty good one. I really was impressed with Mr. Marlon Davidson. But it is what it is.
All right, so linebackers, Fred Warner, obviously, Dre Greenlaw, Oren Burks. A lot of people say he's more of a special
Ooh.
teamer. Demetrius Flanagan Fowles, D Winters. He was one of my draft crushes. Happy that we kept him on board. Jalen Graham really surprised me. And just I thought he was going to be more of a wiry type, skinnier linebacker, but he's actually got a pretty nice build to him too. And he's always around the ball. A lot of people are not happy with the McCrary Ball waving, how we released him. So I don't know what you guys think about this linebacking core so far.
Yeah, I had it. I had a flip with McCrary Ball versus Flanagan. I had DFF on the bubble, and we were going to keep Marcelino McCrary Ball, but they did it opposite. Other than that, you knew Winters and Graham, they just had such a good camp, and they were flashing so much. You knew we were going to make space for those two.
I have a feeling Oren Burks will be out of his starting position by week 3. I think they have him as Sam linebacker. At least that's what Lombardi had in his spreadsheet. So if that's the case, I think he's out of his job by like week 3. I don't really see much going from I would rather see him gone. I know everybody says special teams, but I didn't really see him do much last year as far as make great big plays all that consistently. Right now, I'd rather get younger at the position. We had a lot of young, smart guys who were running around, flying around the ball. I'd rather give them a chance and move on from Oren.
A lot of people were hinting that we may trade a linebacker too, because we've done that in the past before the season starts.
We're not trading Oren. We're not trading Oren Burks. Everybody was saying Flanagan Foles, so we could keep
Marcelino
McCrary Ball.
Yeah.
I would rather.
But here's a point too, because you brought up the special teams piece. Last year, Aziz started at the Sam, and it was Oren Burks who was a special teamer because he's a second team guy. But now, if you have him starting, that de facto brings somebody else to that special teams piece. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because he's not going to start and be on special teams.
If the Niners do what they've normally done, I think we should start playing starters on special teams and trying to get an edge. Like at least try it. Try it and see if we could get any sort of like edge on opponents, whether it's field position, or having them have crappy field position, or us getting turnovers and crucial points. And, when somebody's kicking a field goal, why not try and figure out, how we can block that with the talent we have on our team instead of letting them just kick it.
I think in special dire type situations, it would make sense to throw a starter in. That would be nice.
Yeah, but so Ed Reed was a starter on special teams. Troy Polamalu was a starter on special teams. There's people that you could put in certain impact positions that there's not a big risk of them getting hurt, but a bigger potential for them to make a big play. So, like, I don't know, like, look at how you ever heard Pat McAfee talk about how his special teams touchdown was ripped away from him by Troy Polamalu because he lined up in the boundary side in the C gap. And if you have some of our starters like a Talanoa Huafunga who's smart,
yeah,
he might be able to sniff something out and stop something from happening. Or he might be able to see how they're lining up and figure out how to move their guy over a little bit so they can engage him in the right way so he can get through the line and maybe potentially block the ball. That's what I'm saying. We need to start figuring out how to use some of our starters on special teams so we can really get that to pop. And that might help us in some of the biggest moments
Oh yeah,
of our season.
it is huge. Hey, the way I was taught, man, that those are plays. Those are free plays. There's a chance for you to make a play
Exactly.
on special teams. That's a third of the game, and some big things happen, and the field flips, and some pivotal moments go down on special teams, man.
So we got the cornerbacks and the safeties, our secondary, basically manned by Steve Wilkes, our defensive coordinator. Charvarius Ward, Mooney Ward, we all remember him last year, and that was a really nice signing. Diamador Lenore had a nice little run towards the end of the season last year. I liked what I saw. Whether he plays outside corner or nickel this year, I'm not sure what they're going to be doing. Who's a designated nickel? Now that's kind of a question. Samuel Womack, who I like to call Who's the Mac, obviously made the squad. I like him a lot. Ambry Thomas may have had a resurgence. Yep, return the Mac. Ambry Thomas might have had a resurgence. Isaiah Oliver is the guy who was really touted as being one of our bigger free agent signings, and he is not impressed in camp. And what do you guys think about this cornerback group?
I know we cut a good one in. Who did
so
we
good
cut
you forgot
here?
his name.
No, I want to make sure I get the right. We got Quantrez Knight. We got Deshaun Jameson. We got
oh my gosh,
it was
Deshaun
a couple of good
Jameson.
ones. Hey, I wasn't that impressed with Isaiah Oliver this preseason.
I liked what Quantrez and Jameson were doing over him. I mean, easily.
Yeah, and we released some good folk, man. I guess maybe he has the knowledge of Wilkes stuff. You call that one? You said they're gonna keep him.
Yeah, I saw a press conference where somebody was asking Wilkes about Oliver's lack of flashing or anything productive, and he pretty much stopped them cold in their tracks and explained that, you know, certain people are here for certain situations and other So I was like, okay, so he's ignoring the crappy play because there's some time that he feels he's going to need to use them. You know what I mean? So if it
could be, you know, maybe they know something I don't, you know.
Yeah. And at that moment,
I'm with you though, man.
Yeah. I didn't like it. I think we got guys who can make plays all around the field. I don't think this team is better because Isaiah Oliver's here, but let's see. Hopefully he comes out, makes a couple good run stuff and plays on first down, maybe a good run blitz, get somebody tackle for losses. If you could do something flashy, good, and do it consistently, I'll shut up. I'm really good at that. At shutting up once I get proven wrong, because I'll just sit back and watch. You're on my team. I'll admire. But right now I'm kind of like, I didn't want to say he's going to make it. I just felt from what Wilkes said that there's something he brings to the table, and you wouldn't defend him as much if that was his only thing and everybody else had it on the team. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
He's got this, like Womack does this and that this does that. No, it was pretty clear that there's something that only he could do that Wilkes liked. That so who knows? Maybe he's a blitz specialist from the secondary.
I kept hearing that Isaiah Oliver is a good blitzer, but just none of the good stuff that they were talking about has amounted on the field. Symmetry says, I
don't care if you could just blitz. I don't.
Yeah. I
need you to do all aspects of the game.
Mm-hmm. Symmetry says, I truly think Oliver is getting acclimated and still learning the scheme. We'll see. I want him to be good, but so far he hasn't shown much. So what's up, Snapple? Snapple Facts from Spaces on Twitter says, what it do, ladies and gents? Good to see you. David Corona from Crown Town, Corona, California says, what up, everyone? Dave. Niners all day. And Steve-O says, can anybody read the screen? I know I can read. I don't know if you guys can. I don't have the best eyes either. I wear glasses, so we'll see.
Yeah, I can see it. It looks good.
Let's go ahead.
I can see it.
Cool. So we got he says we don't need to blitz. Well, supposedly a lot of fans want the blitzes because, and then they're like, oh, Wilkes we're going to be more aggressive and have us blitz. Warner looked pretty good on that blitz the other night, though, huh? Not too bad.
Yeah,
Warner.
Yeah, they like the blitz. Everybody likes.
We blitzed too the other night. We brought two 2 extra guys. So we had 6 guys rushing. I like to see that at times. The quarterback couldn't figure out what to do. They were in a mess. So I don't have an issue with that. I like getting there with 4, but right now I don't think we have the other end that can be dominant enough to really have us get there with 4. So as long as we're accounting for the quarterback when we make all this mayhem, because mostly we just make all this mayhem and they sneak out and run. So that's really the only thing I care about. If you're gonna,
that's what happened on that one where Russell Wilson took off when we were playing the Broncos. I saw, I think it was DFF. He was into the maybe the B gap. He was in the B gap on the right side. He got washed down, and it created this, avenue for Russell to, be like a squirrel on a Geico commercial and jump on out.
We should do like a delayed Mike linebacker blitz. You know what I mean? Give it a good 5 seconds, maybe 4, depending on the line. Time the line to where you're eyeing the quarterback, making sure they don't get out, sneak out the backside. And once the edges are there and got him contained essentially from the back end, and he has to step up in the pocket, blitz. Take accountability right then of him and do it like that, because I don't blitzing off from the start. You got to keep some reserves. Like, you were in the military. Are you going to put all your forces? Or are you going to keep some in the reserves just in case you get a counterattack, or you need to do some other kind of maneuvering to maybe catch somebody in the flank after you've got your first, squad is in a gunfight? Yeah, there's things you need to do. So how about you just leave somebody back in reserve, time it down. If the quarterback's got too much time on their hands, then put some pressure on them by running down the gut.
But you got to cover on that back end though, because if he finds if he can pick you apart and find somebody open, it's 88 out the gate, because you don't have those studs in the back, like we do. And we're conditioned almost to go since Salah was here. We rush 4. We do not a NASCAR, but the wide 9, and we just try to get there with 4 all the time. 4, and we just on the back end we use the other 7 to cover down and hit zones, or do what's called marble coverage, man on one side and man outside and deep other. And man everywhere he goes. So it's going to be a little new for us to see. Oh man, they blitzing, and it's hit or miss sometimes with those blitzes. But delayed blitz is definitely one of the tools in the tool belt of blitzing.
So let's talk about the safeties that we got. So Tayshaun Gibson, who we picked up at the last minute last year before the season started, had himself a really, really nice season, and he's having himself a nice camp as well. Talanoa Hufanga, who really, really impressed last year. George Odom is more of a special teamer. Our first round pick. Our first selection of the draft this past year from the 3rd round. That is Ji'Ayir Brown from Penn State. So how do you guys like our safety group?
That's a pretty good group, especially you got 2 Pro Bowl. I think you got 2 All Pros, or Talanoa Hufanga made All Pro 2nd team, and I know George Odom. I don't know if it was All Pro or Pro Bowl. You can check me in the chat, but two honored guys back there in our defensive backfield, making it up. And Ji'Ayir Brown is just coming on like gangbusters, man. He's got it. I think he's chomping for a little bit more playing time, and maybe Deshaun's got to get ready.
I think mid-season we'll see a bit more of Ji'Ayir Brown, more so than early on. Let's jump to the special teams really quick. Unless you want to add something about the safeties, Ryan. You did?
Real quick, yeah. I know everybody's talking about special teams, but yet again, George Odom can go. I got a room for Quantrez Knight here. I'd rather get younger at the position with guys who are on an ascent.
Yeah,
George Odom's on a plateau. So to me, I would rather have 3 young guys essentially in the room with Tayshaun Gibson than to have two young guys and a special teams guy in the room with Tashawn Gibson, because he's been around the block. He can kind of help people. Also, like Talanoa Hufanga has got a lot of knowledge too now, because he's been in the league. He's probably sucking up everything Jimmy Ward ever told him, and Tashawn Gibson. Plus, he's got Troy Polamalu in his ear and Jesse Sapolo and all that good stuff. So Talanoa is another big guy in that room, and Ji'Ayir Brown, I think he's going to suck that up, and he's just going to be just as nasty. So I would be trying to start stacking my deck underneath essentially Talanoa Hufanga and Ji'Ayir Brown right now with young guys, because I already got the vets in the room. You can even call Hufanga a vet. So
he is a vet. This is his third year coming up here.
Yes, sir.
He's a grown-ass man.
He is. Really nice guy too. Special teams, we got Mitch Wisnowski, obviously, person. Tabor Pepper, Jake Moody, the guy who we drafted in the third round, who was not, he's hurt right now, and Gonzalez is hurt, and we worked out Vizcaíno. Did we sign Vizcaíno? You guys are worried that or not?
Is he from the USFL or something? Or
Vizcaíno we had at one point. He was on our roster, I believe. Okay. I forgot exactly when.
I heard we were trying a USFL guy up or something.
There were two names that were mentioned.
A kicker?
Vizcaíno was the one. Yeah, Vizcaíno was the one that stood out because I remember we had him before in the past. Okay. So a day ago we worked out him, Tristan Vizcaíno, and Taylor Rosolino. So I'm not sure which one. I don't think we actually picked up any of them yet. So
let's get to the real question in the room. Should we be calling Robbie Gould up right now?
A lot of people are saying it. I hope we didn't lose that number.
I don't think he's coming back.
That's why I wanted your guys' thoughts.
I don't think he wants to be back. I don't think he wants to come back.
And if he did, he's gonna require. This is gonna put a push on Nick Bosa as well, because I think he's demanding $8 million to come back.
Too much money invested in the kicker position.
Yeah.
So what up, Corey Davis?
Corey, what's up, man?
Corey Davis says, when do you guys think when Bosa is going to sign his contract? I said by Friday. Terradome said, I believe in the next 48 hours.
Next 48.
Ryan said, I believe we after week one. When did you say, Ryan?
Week one. After week one.
Okay.
Yes.
After week one. Okay.
Yes,
hopefully we beat the Steelers if that's the case. So I'm gonna switch off to the other tab. It's gonna have the which one? Where is it?
Going to the open.
I think they're gonna end up playing chicken. And I think the 49ers are gonna lose.
You got to pay them, man.
Classic Ryan.
Nobody blows.
That's what I'm saying. The
reigning defensive player of the year, number 4, ranked by the players, coming off an all-pro season. What do you, what? Why's this hard? They're using the Viagra method of negotiation. They're making it hard.
Okay, so
Trent Williams loves to have you going up against practice because you're a way for him to get better and test his skills, and he's like the best player in the NFL. What some people say, that's saying something. So just pay the man. Let's go win some football games. Gee, Christmas.
49er dude is here. He's the guy who did my theme music to start off the show. He said, "Bang bang, look who's in the building with some fellas."
That's dope, man.
From LA, awesome guy.
Really
what up, 49er dude?
He says he thinks Bosa already signed. They're just waiting to announce it. He's been on the show a couple times. Hopefully I can have him again on the show soon. Let's talk about the quarterback breakdowns really quick for the offense. Depth chart before we wrap this up. Surprise, surprise. Number 1 QB1, as they say. Brock Purdy. There you go. And Sam Darnold at number 2. I don't have my soundboard connected. Some people might want me to hit the boo, but it's okay. He's a Niner, so I'm not going to do that. Brandon Allen. Now there are some quarterbacks supposedly available in the waiver wire. Bailey Zappi. He's looking kind of snappy. Got waived by the New England Patriots. He's loving
You
it.
said Bailey Zappy?
Well,
He's kinda
because there's one guy on Twitter Spaces once he was a Patriots fan. He's like, I like it better when they have Zappy out, because he was talking about the quarterback for the Patriots and
yeah.
McCorkle or whatever, and he didn't like him. And I like it better when they have Zappy, because when Zappy be playing, he looking kind of snappy. So, yeah, so the guy said it way better than I did.
But that's a dope rhyme though.
Yeah, it is. So running backs, we got Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason, TDP, Kyle Juszczyk. What do you think about the running back crews, guys?
All right, y'all. TDP can't block, man.
He looked really bad on that one.
TDP looked
pretty got sacked.
Horrible blocking. I mean, I, as a runner, he runs good. He didn't have the fumble problems that Jordan Mason has had, not only in practice, but he put it on the ground once in the end zone versus San Diego, now LA Chargers, and
a couple of practice, I believe.
You got to be able to pass pro, man. You got to be able to carry out your fakes and blasts and stuff, man. When he's whipping a lot, man, it's like he just don't block. It's like I don't do that. He's like in the union or something. I only do running. I don't block.
No block, no rock.
That's not my job. That's not my job.
Not my job. You know what I mean? Not my job.
I just do my job, man.
And but other than that, it's cool.
We cut Coletto, the fullback, and I don't know if we're gonna be able to put him on the practice squad. Now teams might be gunning for him, so I don't know.
And
they are.
He kind of has a dual. He's a dual guy. He can swing over with the tight end sometimes, and
he can swing over with the linebackers. He played linebacker in college, man.
Yeah, he's a ball player.
He played quarterback at times. Well, who's stupid?
Yeah, we usually like those guys like that. Maybe.
Let's hear it, Ryan.
Like I'm looking at the screen right now, and I can see two people can't block worth shit, and one of them is an offensive lineman.
We're gonna get to
TDP that over here. Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, it's okay, I guess, in the running back room if you're gonna he needs a boot camp, he needs a blocking boot camp, and he needs it yesterday. Okay, because you can't come out in a package and everybody go, oh, this is a run, because that guy can't pass block to save his life. You know what I mean? Not necessarily that's the only indicator, because he could go out on a route, but to me, it's still not an indicator.
Fox.
You shouldn't. What's up?
Fox protection is called Fox, and that means the back will stay in and block. And
what does the Fox say?
The Fox say,
I don't want him. Block.
I don't want him in there.
What does the Fox say?
It's Fox protection and Brock back there.
Symmetry 7 says, tell TDP to work out with Frank Gore past pro drills. I agree. We got John V from the Locker Room Rant. Says, what's goody, fam, all the way in Ohio,
John
watching
B.
us. And
hey, John B, what's up, man?
Kelt says, I'll give you a new look with a stiff left and a sharp right hook. Okay, that rhymes a little bit. Let's talk about the O-line. So we got Trent Williams, Jake Brendel, Colton McKivitz, Aaron Banks, Spencer Burford, Matt Pryor, no relation to Richard, Jalen Moore, John Feliciano, and Nick Zakelj, the Beast. What do you guys think?
I would cut every single player after Spencer Burford.
Yeah, you really couldn't put Joey Fisher in there, or Matt Pryor,
Manning,
or
John
Feliciano.
Manning, man.
Manning. Man.
But
and I was hearing
Nick Zakelj, he's very smart. Nick Zakelj, he's very smart. Can't block for shit. What? But very, very smart. He holds like a motherfucker too. But he's very smart. I just want you to know he's very smart. The guy has got a lot of potential to be a librarian.
And Ryan, were you the one? Was it you and Ted, or maybe it was Raj that was saying this? That Nick Zakelj is Purdy's roommate.
I think he is. Yeah,
no, I heard. I think it was Raj that said it.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, now I see how he made the team. I get it.
That bitch got the golden ticket.
Like Willy Wonka
Like
got the
Willy
golden ticket.
Wonka, he got the golden
Dude, that Il
I
Manning
love Willy
cut really
Wonka.
pissed me off. It was one of them things. It just like
I know,
I've
man.
been
He
looking
had a
for
good
guys on the online.
season. Good preseason.
Go
We've
ahead,
seen
Ryan.
him do
Go
good
ahead.
work.
I
We've seen him do
know.
good work. We got Nick Sakelj. It's bullshit. How you gonna win
You know
six
what?
with a bitch like Sakelj?
And Il Manning, they kept saying, "Oh, he's got short arms. He's got short arms. He's got short arms."
Well,
Look,
I don't
if
care.
you see him out there, he looks like he belongs. I get it. He's only 6'2". He's not 6'6", 6'7". Not ideal, but that's the position he played at Hawaii. He looks
How
like
big was
he
John
belongs when he's
Randall?
out there. Yeah, John Randall
How
on
big was
D-line, but
John
yeah,
Randall?
what 6'1"
It
maybe?
said 6'1". It was more like 6 feet and a half, but
Yeah. No,
Gotta be-
he had to chain a bike chain around his waist to make weight so they would let him on the team. And he didn't need to, but they had to check this box. The moment he got out there and figured out he could get paid millions of dollars if he was just trouble, he figured out I can go piss off Trent Dilfer to the point where he gets ejected from the game. And all I have to do
Yeah,
is
he
lay
did.
there on the ground and laugh at him. Are you kidding me? He was in everybody's heads when he was out there. Tell me about size. Tell me about that. Tell me about checking a box. Get out of here.
Armling.
I'm sick of that shit.
Yeah,
Like everybody's like, oh, the length of the arms. I'm like, it
gotta-
doesn't
yeah,
matter how long your
I know.
arms if you can't use them correctly.
we've
or
had plenty
better
of
than
dudes
your
here with
opponent.
longer arms. We had plenty of
Yeah.
dudes here with longer arms that didn't look as good as Manning did in the preseason. That's all I
Exactly.
gotta say.
Facts. We got some that are on the team that made the cut.
Mm.
It's just
It's, no need in having long arms if your feet don't work there, buddy.
yeah, like Jalen Moore. Like I'm telling you,
Oh, I ain't
can't
go
get
there,
his
but
feet to work well enough. He can't get his feet to work well enough just to even position his body between the edge rusher and the quarterback, much less adequately get his hands on them and stop them from getting to the court. He just can't even get his body in the way. They always
Gotta
get
kick
around
step.
him and he falls on his ass. It's like, oh, I tried everything I could do. What do I do, coach? I'm sorry. Get up
I
and
tried
move, boy.
so hard. All right. Speaking of trying hard, our wide receivers are next on the list. And the guys that we did keep on the 53-man roster, we got Brandon Ayuk, and Debo
Big
Samuel,
Big
Debo,
year.
Jawan Jennings, who I like a lot. A lot of people, for some reason, kind of counted Jawan Jennings when we first drafted him. Like, hold on, let's see what this guy's made of. He's done himself a nice job so far. He may command a lot of money, but we'll see. Danny Gray, we didn't see much of the preseason, got hurt, but he's on the 53-man roster. He's got some speed. I heard he's been improving his route running skills. Ray McLeod III, and Ronnie Bell, who looked really, really nice in that Denver
Ronnie
game.
Bell looked very good. A very good training camp for Ronnie Bell. I knew he was a solid make. Didn't see Danny Gray that much. Did he play any preseason games?
He played in the second game and he got hurt off of a kickoff return.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Ray's got the wrist. He should be back.
The wrist.
I think projected week 2 or 3, maybe. Yeah, solid with Jawan Jennings. That's my guy, man. Third and Jawan. Get it to him. And Debo and Ayuk they're chomping at the bit, man. They're looking to make Pro Bowl years. That's what they're aiming for this year. No doubt about it. They're the thoroughbreds that we need them to be.
And Purdy was throwing those little short passes to Debo. Debo had a full head of steam. He looks really explosive. Ayuk almost broke a touchdown in the last preseason game, and I'm really excited to see those guys. And Chris Conley was a wide receiver that certain fans wanted to see stick around.
Yeah.
I thought I liked him. I just thought he might have been on the bubble a little bit because there's the wide receiver group talent wise this is probably one of the better groups that we've had in quite some time.
Oh yeah, Willie Snead, him. Chris Conley had probably the best catch of the preseason. That one, that dime that Sam Darnold threw to him on the sideline there. I think he hurt his shoulder a little bit, but he seemed fine. But yeah, we had a lot there. Willis need to, and this is unfortunate. Maybe they'll come
Tay
through
Martin
the
got
release
released
line.
too. Tay Martin
Oh
was
yeah,
another one.
Tay Martin.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was the other one. Tay.
So let's move on to the tight ends, unless you guys want to add something about the receivers. George Kittle's the obviously one. The name that surprises me is Ross Dwelly. Not too big on Ross, but some people like his hands. Charlie Warner and Braden Willis.
This
What let
was
me
my
down was
surprise.
go ahead.
We know what Charlie Warner can do. He can tip off the defense to the fact that it's a run play. let's just get Fumagalli. Hey, you were having Tyler Croft trying to block Hassan Ridgeway last year. How about you just put somebody like Troy Fumagalli in there? I think he might fare a little better.
Yeah, I think so.
He's a little thicker.
Mm-hmm.
And he also contributes in the passing game. Now, I know Charlie Warner is this all-star stud run blocker, but if you're letting the defensive line know they're about to get run blocked instead of being on pass protection, then they get a chance to attack things differently. They're going to get in the gap and stay there until they figure out where the ball's going, and then they're going to swarm. It's not a smart look. To me, Ross had his times. We haven't seen Ross really catch anything or do anything. And
other than that, Trey Lance. Other than that, drop interception when Trey Lance tried to throw the touchdown and just plopped in Dwelly's hands and he caught it. Brandon Willis is somebody
about Charlie Warner.
Oh, talking about Warner. Yeah, my bad. Warner. Yeah,
Warner doesn't catch
Shanahan must really love his blocking because he stuck around. I'm not a big Dwelly fan either, guys. I'll say that.
They keep on
hanging around. His attempts versus his completions.
And I liked Fumagalli in camp. I liked him in the games.
Ross Dwelly catches everything, bro.
He does. I liked what I saw from Fumagalli. He looked
other
like
people's interceptions.
Yeah, he did. I think Fumagalli should have probably made it. I was hoping to see Latu make the squad, but he had that surgery. I don't know when he's going to come back, and I don't know. I think he knows.
He's gone for the year.
He's gone for the year.
If you catch injured reserve before the roster, you're gone.
And somebody was hinting to me, they're just stashing him away, so it's a roster move, and then they're going to hide him. I was like, I don't know if he's going to have surgery. That's not really something. But the guy who I thought they kind of stashed a little bit because I heard so much about him in OTAs and mini camps, and even in training camp in terms of having a nice little yak ability as a tight end was Braden Willis.
Yeah,
I heard. I didn't see it in the preseason games. Maybe they were hiding him for whatever reason.
They were hiding him. They were gonna hide him.
I didn't see it.
They were
gonna try and sneak him because they were gonna keep Latu on because Latu needs more work. So they were gonna keep Latu on because he was also the 3rd round pick. So you can't sneak Latu on there. They were gonna try and keep Dwelly and Warner, obviously. So they only had a spot really for one, but Willis, that's why I think it was he might be able to come back by the end of the season, but what does it matter? It's not like he's going to come back to start. He's not one of those guys yet. He hasn't developed yet. So might as well just keep him out for the whole season. Braden Willis, now they don't have to worry about sneaking Braden Willis onto the practice squad. He can have a spot ready to go. He can probably also swap in at fullback in case you need if Juice goes down. So because he's better at blocking in space than on the line.
He had impressive film
from what I've heard
at Oklahoma. Just what I seen, and like you said, we didn't get a chance really to see it in the presence of a game showcase.
He's got good wiggle at the top of the route. That's another thing I've heard about him. So I've watched tape, but things change when you get into the NFL. Some of those moves so I haven't seen it, but I've heard like Grant say it. I believe that he had wiggle. I'm sure a lot of other people were talking about his game. I think even Ted was talking about it. So he's got them moves. So he was my favorite player in the draft.
There you go. Speaking of moves, this guy right here, Aaron, whenever he refers to anybody having a football move, he doesn't call it a wiggle. He calls it the stanky leg.
The stanky leg. Doing the stanky leg.
Aaron from 49ers First Takes Podcast is here. I think Raphael is here. I think Raphael's saying, "What's up?" Dave McNiner says something. He says, "I want Coletto instead of Warner and Dwelly. Dwelly had a whopping 3 catches last year. Coletto would have been a nice utility piece, man. I think he could. He played all kinds of positions in college, and he would have been a nice guy to keep on the roster. Maybe they think he's a master, was a jack of all trades but master of none. I don't know."
And that's kind of the 49er way, man. A positionless guy who can, we got the greatest wide back and we got the best running back receiver. We like the positionless thing. And it's I was watching that new Swamp Kings on
blocking tight end.
Yes. And I was watching Swamp Kings on Netflix, talking about the University of Florida back in the day with Tim Tebow and all of them, man. And that's imported a little bit from the spread offense. He wanted people positionless to really create mismatches in the spread. So it's kind of somewhat how Kyle is doing it as well. You want a positionless guy because it throws off a defense when you just can't say, okay, that guy's a traditional fullback, so we need to bring in a big guy here. Well, when you have this guy here and he splits out wide, now you brought in your big ogre. Now you've created a
he said ogre.
you done bought it. Remember those big linebackers Pittsburgh used to have, man? Kirkland,
Levon Kirkland at 270 pounds.
They were 200. Yeah. Can you see him out here trying to guard CMC or
no
CMC never put in motion and split out wide? Man, he'll look crazy out there.
I got trying to catch Juice on a wheel route.
Yes, yeah, he's down there in a quick slant. Yeah, you want to create those mismatches.
I was gonna say that we're gonna be wrapping things up pretty soon, so you guys just go ahead and tell us about your channels. I didn't have Terradome's link to the channel because he was a last minute guy, but I'm gonna set that up right now. Put the link to Terradome's channel in the description box of the video for those guys to refresh it, and it'll be there. And go ahead and talk about your channel, No Border Sports, Ryan. Let them know what's up, and then after Terradome, you go ahead.
Yeah, check me out, No Border Sports. Tomorrow I got a show on Joe Stevens' channel, The Rivalry. It's a 49ers Seahawks show. And then Thursday night, I am on with Corey Davis. Oh, Wednesday night, I got the Pick'ems at 7 o'clock on Corey Davis's channel. There we go. And then Friday, I think the Friday night show that was usually on my channel is the first session is going to be, I think, on Corey Davis's channel. And the second one might be on David McNiner's. I'm not sure. We got to get that ironed out. So just look at my comment tab next couple of days. I should have something going out each day explaining once I figure it out. So
your community tab on YouTube. Yeah. And if you guys aren't subscribed to No Border Sports
show,
hit up the description box of this video. I have his YouTube channel there linked. And if you refresh the video, you'll see Terradome's link to his channel. Go ahead, Terradome, let them know what you're all about.
Terradome, 10 a.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's 7 a.m. to you civilians on the West Coast. Talk about family, faith, football, and films, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And you can see me floating around a little bit of everybody's show. I'm a fan of all the content creators, so I will be in the content creator multiverse somewhere soon.
That is right. So I want to say, first and foremost, appreciate the huge turnout we had in the chat tonight. All kinds of people were waiting patiently, typing away in the chat before the show was even started. And we had to fix a few things before we. It's all good. It's all good. And part of it was me. I had to set up some stuff, and we always got to make sure things are acclimated. And Terradome was our last minute guest, so appreciate you. Mariah was a little under the weather, so prayers out to Mariah.
Prayers up, Mariah. Get better.
There you go. Me and Mariah
drink
go back
a ginger babies and pacifiers. I heard.
Yeah,
that's that old dirty bastard.
Rest in peace, ODB, man.
Rest in peace, ODB.
He was my favorite from the Wu-Tang Clan, by the way. No doubt about it. He was my favorite from the Wu-Tang.
I like meth. I did
like
like
Meth, you're a
that.
meth guy?
But
Okay.
ODB had the better hits, man.
I just feel like I could identify with ODB more. I don't know.
Oh
I'm kind of
man,
funny like that.
when he hit that
I bomb
A
atomically. Socrates'
A
philosophies and hypotheses
A.
can't define how I'll be dropping these.
Oh, well, Ryan with the bars.
Oh, look at
Inspect the
Ryan.
Wow.
A couple of bars out there. I like A.
He's got more bars than a candy
baby,
store.
I got your money. Don't you worry. I said, hey.
So
Man, he
my
killed
buddy,
that.
my buddy sent me a picture, and he's a big Wu-Tang fan. I'm a Wu-Tang fan also, not like a huge one, but you know, I support the Wu-Tang. He sent me a picture, and it was like from Japan. It was a picture someone took in Japan. And it was a flyer for a sashimi restaurant, and it was sashimi. Anyway, sashimi.
Shimmy, shimmy,
Whatever
ya,
you call
shimmy,
it for
yam,
the
shimmy,
sushi.
yo. The
But
song?
it was shimmy shirimi y'all, and then it was like this bust with ODB's face hanging out of it, and I can't remember all the other puns that they had on there, but it was like a Wu-Tang sushi bar. I was like, if I ate sushi, that's where I'm going.
Yep. I never thought of the sushi rep, but there is sashimi roll sushi, and then there's a song shimmy, shimmy, yam, shimmy, yo, shimmy, yay. So I never thought of the connection. But
Yeah.
You put it all
Yeah.
in there. Yeah, that's the
there you
Wu.
go.
Shimmy shrimmy y'all. Yeah.
18 chain.
So Ryan getting some love in the chat. Go Ryan. He's got more bars in a candy store. Tommy Huxley's here. We're wrapping it up. But he says that's the worst Japanese I've ever heard. Fail. None of us ever claimed to be Japanese scholars. Speaking of Japanese, I was listening before. We're just having a little small talk before we wrap it up. I was my cousin went to the concert for Styx. Remember the rock group Styx?
Oh, yeah.
And you know everybody knows the Domo Arigato song, Mr. Roboto. And I was watching the video for that the other day because my friend reminded me of the group, and there's an actual mini movie for that song because it's a concept album. The song, there's a story aligned with the whole Roboto part. It's tied in with the story, so that's a really underrated classic rock group that started the Styx. They started in the 70s. I listened to a lot of their older stuff too, and before the Roboto, and they were just awesome. It's always good to just go back in time and listen to some old school music.
I love that, man.
Check out.
Styx,
there's a there's a documentary on ZZ Top, and everybody likes ZZ Top, right? Well,
oh yeah,
I like
girls
the music.
crazy about a sharp dress, man.
They played more of like a blues type, and man, they actually, I think they were better before they kind of changed their sound to what you know now. It was, and so I can't remember the name of the documentary, but it was on Netflix when I saw it. So if you go check it out, let me know what you think about their garage band era. To me, it was pretty kick ass. It was just guys up there doing what they want and just being badass. Not that they're not badass now, but it was more like, I don't know. It was like
early band
stuff in a different way.
Always better when they're just getting stuff, when they're hungry, and they like their first albums and stuff like that. You know,
not scared to do something crazy.
It was, that's when you're finding it, and just I like that. I like documentaries like that that uncap some previously unreleased or some stuff you just didn't know about. You know.
So Tommy,
did you ever watch Devil at the Crossroads? Sorry, real quick. Devil at the Crossroads about Bobby Johnson.
Ralph Macchio, the documentary
Bobby
or the
Johnson.
movie? It's about Bobby Johnson, but they had a one called Crossroads that had I think it was Ralph Macchio in it. That it was
about this is a documentary called Devil at the Crossroads.
No, I ain't see the documentary. I saw the movie Crossroads.
Oh, turns out he was playing he sucked at playing the guitar. So the guy who taught him kind of how to play, told him to go play in the cemetery where, you know, you could only piss off the dead people, essentially. Like nobody wants to hear that shit. And so he practiced in the cemetery and then came out, and his style was different. He had a bass string attached to one of his other strings so he could strum that and have a bass section on his guitar. And people would try to watch how he fingered or used his hands, and he would just turn around in the middle of playing so they couldn't eye what he was doing. The guy was talented. And Led Zeppelin, if you listen to, what is it? Traveling Riverside Blues.
Yeah.
If you listen to that, it starts out like Devil at the Crossroads, or one of Bobby Johnson's biggest hits.
I'll check out that.
It's crazy.
Devil at the Crossroads.
So speaking of great guitarists, we got Tommy Huxley in the chat. He got here a little bit late. It's all good. We're talking about Styx. He said the lead singer Dennis DeYoung was opera trained. I'm not surprised because that Styx, like I mentioned, the Roboto thing. There's a rock opera that there's a production that they did. You can watch it on YouTube. It's called Caught in the Act, and there's some acting moment. It's like a mini movie. You'll got to check it out. They had excellent guitarists in that group, by the way. That group put out some amazing guitar riffs, and their two guitarists were actually singers in the group as well. One song was Renegade, and I believe the other song was Got Too Much Time in My Hands. And both of the guitarists could sing really well too. They're a very underrated group. On that
they knew
note,
how to put music together.
Oh yeah, they did. On that note, the chat was awesome today. My co-hosts were awesome today. Shout out to Mari again. Get well. Time to wrap it up, guys. Thank you guys for watching the Bring the Heat podcast on the 49er Minded channel, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. Keep repping those 49ers and stay 49er minded. Peace. Let's go. Go Niners.
Peace.
Let's see week 1. Let's kick Pittsburgh's ass. Let's go.
Let's
Ryan
do it.
and Pterodome. Let's go.
It's not just a.
Come on, 49er faithful. Let's get it.
Because it's 49er mind.
We gotta do this one time for the Empire.
It's 49er mind. It's 49er mind.
We gotta get that brick by brick done quick.
49er mind.
Yeah. Yo, we can't listen to them haters, man.
49er mind.
We from the Bay.
49er mind.
We them San Francisco 49ers.
49er mind.
We got that red and gold blood inside us.